Hello everyone. Before I bought the Parker 51 that I showed in a video not too long ago, I wanted to see whether or not I liked the shape of more or less a traditional fountain pen, right? By traditional, I mean something like this. So before I got that pen, I actually bought a couple of Jinhao 51As, and that's what we're going to be looking at today. So before anyone kind of gets into the comment section below, I just wanted to mention that even though it's a 51A and it's obviously a play on the Parker 51, this pen actually has quite a lot of differences compared to the Parker 51, which I showed earlier on, and we'll dive into some of them later on. But let's take a look at the pen. As you can see, I bought one which was, I mean, these pens come in lots and lots of finishes and materials. I think that's like a marble cracked finish and so on. I just bought the burgundy one because I think this is a very classic Parker 51 like color. And I bought this clear blue one, kind of reminiscent. I mean, I thought it will turn out to be something like the Pilot Custom 74 type of blue, but it's not. But I really like this shade of blue. So let's take a look at the pen. So first of all, this is, for those of you who have Parker 51, you would know that this little piece down here is reminiscent of the jewel in the Parker 51. And it's nice. I mean, probably a little bit close to being a clone in my opinion, but that's just me. You have the clip. By the way, this is metal, and then you have the clip, which is kind of like a pilot clip, pretty close actually. It's probably the ball is a little bit smaller than the typical pilot clip. And it has the Jinhao logo on top down here. I believe I have it the wrong way around. It's actually of a chariot, right? Kind of like this logo. And then if you look at the wording down here, hopefully this is in focus. It says Jinhao 51A. And I really love that they told me that it's the 51A because I would have not remembered all these model names. One of the key things about this pen is how deep it posts, right? So I've tried to jam in the pen all the way to the end of the cap. If you take a look at my other pen down here, right, you can see how close the nib gets to the end of the pen. Right, and that's one thing to kind of take note of. I really like the way that they've kept the pen short. I mean, if you take my Pilot Custom 74, this pen is actually shorter when it's closed compared to the Custom 74, but when it's open, it's actually turns out to be longer than the Pilot Custom 74, right? So I mean, that's another kind of interesting thing about this pen. And looking at the body, there's really not much to it. The plastic that they use kind of feels slightly sturdier or equivalent to the another pen which I reviewed on the channel, which is Jinhao 992. I don't think you can crack it with your hand pressure alone. It definitely feels not of the highest quality, but nonetheless it does feel nice. I mean, it does look nice, right? I like demonstrator type materials for barrels. You can open up the barrel, and essentially, as you can see, this is a very thin piece of plastic down here. It is closed at the end, right? I don't think there's a hole, so you can eyedropper this pen if you wanted to. However, I'll caution you, and maybe you might want to try using different inks when doing the eyedropper mode, because I have had Jinhao pens that melted with certain inks. I'm not going to mention those inks. So just do a little bit of test before you do try out the eyedroppering. Otherwise, the pen comes with this converter down here. I've been writing with this pen, which is why I'm running out of ink, right? Generally, it's a good converter, and it's fairly affordable. You can always get replacement converters if this one breaks or anything happens to it. The threads on both the barrel and the section area or the grip section area is actually also plastic, which I think it's fine. What I did was, I found that after using this pen for a while, it got really difficult to open up somehow the plastic seized a little bit. So I put a little bit of silicone grease. I always find it useful to put a tiny bottle of TWSBI silicone grease on those threads, even though I'm not eyedroppering it, and it makes this action a lot smoother. And then coming to the actual grip section area, it's not really obvious, but there is a very slight tapering down, with this area being slightly narrower compared to the main body area. And the way they've done it in terms of that tapering kind of again makes me feel like the Parker 51 type of feel. Where I hold the pen typically is kind of at the middle of this grip section area, and it's fairly comfortable at about 1 centimeters. Incidentally, the whole pen is about 12.8 centimeters from tip of the nib to the back of the pen. And again, it's very deceptive because it's devoid of any features, and obviously the nib is kind of hooded. So it's deceptive how long this pen is, and you can definitely use this pen unposted. Major thing though is the weight. This pen is super light. I don't have much ink on it, and the other thing to take note of, it's pretty balanced, right? So it's balanced right in the middle of the pen. One note about having pens that have a metal area and then a plastic area is that it's kind of inevitable that you would some scratches might result when you're actually doing this. So that's one thing about this pen that you have to take note. After a while, you would get not obvious on camera, but you would get very slight micro scratches all over this barrel area. Incidentally, this pen definitely can be posted, and once it's posted, you actually can write pretty well with the weight of the cap kind of helping you kind of stabilize the pen while you're writing. So then looking at the nib, kind of difficult to see anything specifically. The nib section can be totally disassembled and for cleaning if you wanted to. If you're interested, I'll put a video to Stephen Brown video where he actually disassembled the whole pen, right? Basically, you can just unscrew. You can see screw threads down here. You can actually unscrew the entire hooded nib. I didn't do it for mine, but it's nice to know that you have that option. And there's the feed down here. So let's take some paper and then do a quick writing sample. I'm going to raise the table a little bit. And generally, my impression of this pen writing wise is it's a very nice writer. Hard to kind of, when I say that, the pen starts to be cranky. It is decently wet, right? So obviously it depends on how you store your pens. I typically store them like lying flat or sometimes even nipped down, right? And in that case, you can see that it is decently wet, right? So this is the Jinhao 51A. And in terms of thickness, it looks like a fine to me, right? And doing a little bit of writing. For some reason, this grid makes me write really small. So writing wise, typical Jinhao feel to me, smooth with actually not a lot of feedback. The feedback is actually how it comes from how pointy the nib is. And without any pressure, you can see that the line it produces is very nice and thin, right? And going the other way, it's equally thin. If you wanted to add a little bit more pressure, you could get the nib to kind of you draw a little bit of broader line, right? But otherwise, it's a very nice nib, I would say. Pretty typical of Jinhao nibs, but definitely okay for everyday use, for everyday writing. So that's the Jinhao 51A. It's a little bit of a different take to the very typical fountain pen look, right? So basically, this is a very typical fountain pen with a huge, this nib looks huge compared to the other one. And I think if you're drawn to the more classic style of fountain pen, this is, fairly traditional looking fountain pen. Performance wise, the other thing to take note of is that lots of people say that a hooded nib would not dry out as fast. I haven't really noticed any advantages to that for my personal pens. It's true they don't really dry out that fast, but I don't see them being any more resistant to drying out compared to other pens that I have. So, pair of nice pens. Price wise, you can get these in Singapore for about $5, 5 Singapore dollars. You probably could get them cheaper, and 5 Singapore dollars is roughly, I would guess, about the $3 US mark. Probably could get them cheaper. So I've seen some places actually sell these in bulk, where you can get a pack of 10 for certain price. So if you're interested in this type of pen shape, definitely give the Jinhao 51A a look. Okay, so that's the end of the video for today. Hope you found this interesting. Again, I will put the link to the Stephen Brown video where he disassembles this pen for those of you who are interested. Let me know your comments. Please, I really appreciate the comments that you guys actually put in the comments box below. It's keep this channel more vibrant. And please, again, like and subscribe. It really helps this channel, as you know. And I will see you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.